there, I'm Cherie.
I'm Chris.
And we're Technomadia. And this week is our Loopiversary. Is that a word?
It is now, Loopiversary. So 1 year ago this week, we set off on our great loop adventure. We left the marina we started at when we bought, why not, Burnt Store Marina over near Punta Gorda, Florida, and started heading south. And well,
now we're heading north.
Now we're heading north, so we're still on the loop. It's been a year.
And we've made it an entire 477 nautical miles to Fort Pierce, which is where we currently are.
Which is about 8% of the generally accepted loop distance. So, whoa, 8% in 1 year.
So we've gotten a lot of questions, especially from those of you joining in since we announced this adventure a couple years ago. Inquiring is like, shouldn't you be moving along? Why are you moving so slow?
Right. So the traditional, I guess the path that a lot of people do the loop is they do it as a 1 year trip, and they follow the seasons north, summer in Canada, south, winter in Florida, and some of them just keep repeating that, and it's do the entire thing in 1 year.
Or under. So it is a very seasonal thing. There are definitely places you want to be for each season.
Yeah, but boating in Ontario in December is apparently not such a great time.
So a lot of people do it in 1 year, and a lot of those folks have been gearing up for this great loop adventure. Maybe it's a retirement excursion or something like that.
Gap year, yeah.
Or they just keep doing it over and over and over again, and it's amazing. But there is no one right way to do the loop, and for I think every looper who's doing it on the 1 year pattern, there are many others who are doing it at a slower pace, and that would be us.
Well, actually, there is counterclockwise is the right way to do the loop, because only crazy people would try to cruise up the Mississippi. But there's no right pace to do the loop, and yeah,
very true.
Yes.
Very true. There are seasons that you want to be in each segment, like it's really not a good idea to be in Florida for hurricane season. Only crazy people do that, apparently.
Yes, apparently that's us.
So when we set out to do the loop, remember that we had been full-time RVing for 11 years before that. We have been on the road full-time for a very long time, and we are ready to slow down our pace. And that was part of this new adventure for us, is staying places longer and exploring the places that we go to, measured in weeks instead of days.
Right, and weekly stays and monthly stays in particular are very, very cost effective, and they really let you get to experience a whole deeper side of these cool little towns along the way.
And another consideration is, when you're on a boat, you move at a much slower pace than you do in an RV. When we're traveling by RV, we typically are going at 55 to 60 miles per hour. That's about our average speed.
And on the boat, we like to cruise at 7 to 8 knots, which is a wonderful pace.
But going 55 to 60 is not even an option. But it is a significant, it's like, 1/10 the speed, maybe more like 1/8 the speed. So to cover the 6,000 miles of the Great Loop, the amount of driving time, and that impacts the amount of time that we're actually in motion, and how many engine hours, thus how much fuel is being expended, is about the equivalent, in our estimation, of about 40,000 RVing miles in a year. Now, when we're RVing, we found our ideal pace is somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 miles a year of RVing. So trying to do a 40,000 mile RV trip or a 6,000 mile boat trip in a year,
that's not our style.
That's just an insane, crazy pace for us, especially because we still work full time.
Right. And so we are doing the loop our way. We keep hearing people say, "Hey, you should be going faster, or you're spending too much time here."
You're not going to make it by to the Erie Canal opening on May 15th.
Oh,
that's
okay.
not our goal this year.
Maybe next year we'll make it to the Erie Canal opening by May 15th. That would be awesome. But yeah, this year our goal is to get out of Florida before the hurricanes find Florida,
or the general southeast in general. So what we're going to be doing, our Great Loop is going to be looking like extended cruising seasons that are generally following the Great Loop path. And maybe after 4 or 5 years, we'll have completed our loop. Maybe we'll fall in love with an area along the way and stay there longer.
Yeah, because there's lots of little loops to be done along the loop, and a lot of side trips and detours. And I love side trips and detours. Sounds like a great idea to me.
Why not, right? So what we will be doing is we'll keep heading north. And when it gets too cold, we'll find somewhere to store the boat and winterize it. And that's why we kept our RV. Well, number one, we love our RV. That's why we kept our RV. We still wanted to integrate in RVing. So our winters, when it's too cold to be boating, is we will be back in our RV in the winters, which our RV will be somewhere like in the desert southwest of Arizona.
Arizona winters, wonderful. Arizona summers, we're going to be on a boat. Perfect.
So that's how we're doing our loop, very slowly over the years, and it's really not that unusual. We have run into a lot of cruisers who are generally doing the same thing. They may be on the loop, or they may be generally on the loop.
So we got some statistics of our year on
Our
the
first
loop
year,
right here.
yeah.
Yes,
We're getting a lot of questions on the expenses and fuel consumption.
so
Now,
it's 477 nautical miles so far.
Now, keep in mind when I'm talking about fuel numbers, our fuel tanks are 440 gallons.
We barely filled them.
That's over 700 miles of range by our current estimations. So we have not really done a full fuel fill yet. We've done a couple partial fills. So these numbers we expect to get more reliable over time, but since so many are asking, we'll go ahead and show what we have so far. We have 78 engine hours so far on our port and starboard engine. Few less on the starboard when we hit the prop.
Yes, yes, that's true.
We have spent $852 in fuel to fill our tanks.
Not bad for a year.
That's 320 gallons, and we do use diesel fuel. That works out to $4.13 a day for the days that we consider ourselves on the loop. And our fuel burn rate, we are considering right now to be at about 3.1 gallons per hour, and that's both engines using fuel to run.
Again, we still have a lot more analysis to do over time.
And that's also trying to factor in our generator use, which skews things up because it all runs off the same tank, and it's really complicated to try to figure out. We're going off best guesses based on research we've done about what our generator burns, and we're trying to figure this all out. But as we use more fuel over time, hopefully they'll get better. Now, for our marina nights, we have stayed in marinas for 242 nights, and we have anchored out 25 nights. Like I said, we're doing those monthly rates, so that's making it much more affordable.
And we've had some stays that, like our really extended stay in Fort Myers was getting used to the boat, getting the boat outfitted, and a lot of stuff like that. And then
taking it out for day trips and going up and practicing locking and anchoring and things like that.
And our extended stay in Miami wasn't really intentional.
No. Anyway, our average nightly cost so far is $28.58 a night for our marina stays. So not bad, and it's not that different than what our RVing prices are, because we are matching our pace and fuel consumption and nightly costs pretty much to our RVing lifestyle by the pace that we've chosen.
Yeah.
So we're anticipating that our style of cruising and our style of RVing are going to be pretty comparable as far as the cost in fuel and overnight stays.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it that way, particularly once we start incorporating even more anchoring out time, which I think we'll be doing in the future.
Now, maintenance will make a huge difference because a boat definitely has higher maintenance costs.
Yes.
But that's the numbers that we have them right now, and that's an explanation of our pace and what we're up to.
Yeah, and I wonder where we'll be this time next year. Next Loopiversary.
Who knows? We'll probably, hopefully, be returning to our boat somewhere up the eastern seaboard, maybe the Chesapeake.
Yes.
That's kind of the goal.
Look for us there.
All right, see you next time.